Hello, this is Jim with another Hymn Treasures series. Today we're going to look at Jesus as the provider and someone who loves you. The first hymn I'll be talking about today is My Jesus, I Love Thee. This is the biblical verse that inspired this hymn is we love him because he first loved us. This is 1 John 4:19. This is a story behind this hymn. This is coming from the book Then Sings My Soul by Robert J. Morgan. Reading that. And so here we go. The young people of today are utterly dissolute and disorderly. Fumed, grumpy old Martin Luther in the 16th century, the philosopher Plato agreed. The youth are rebellious, pleasure-seeking, and irresponsible, he wrote. They have no respect for their elders, Socrates complained. Children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders and love chatter. A 6,000-year-old Egyptian tomb bears the inscription, "We live in a decadent age." Young people no longer respect their parents. They are rude and impatient. They inhabit taverns and have no self-control. The next time you think the modern generation is going from bad to worse, remember that God always has a rich handful of teenage heroes ready to change the world. In Bible times, we read of Joseph the dreamer, Daniel in Babylon, David the giant killer, and the Virgin Mary, likely still a teen. As a teenager, Charles Spurgeon preached to great crowds, and when they refused to his youthfulness, let me read that again. As a teenager, Charles Spurgeon preached to great crowds, but when they referred to his youthfulness, he replied, "Never mind my age. Think of the Lord Jesus Christ and his preciousness." In our own day, we've been deeply moved by young people like 17-year-old Cassie Bernal of Littleton, Colorado, who was shot for her faith during the Columbine tragedy. Some of our greatest hymns were also written about young adults. Isaac Watts wrote most of his most memorable hymns at about age of 19. When poet John Milton was 15, he wrote well-known Let Us with a Gladsome Mind. The hymn, Work for the Night is Coming, was written by an 18-year-old. And the hymn of deep devotion, My Jesus, I Love Thee, was written by William Ralph Featherston at age of 16. 16, wow. That's what it said. 16! Featherston was born July 23rd, 1846 in Montreal. He died in the same city 26 years later. Wow. His family attended the Wesleyan Methodist Church, and it seemed likely that William wrote this hymn as a poem celebrating his conversion to Christ. Reportedly, he sent it to an aunt living in California, and somehow it was published as an anonymous hymn in a British hymnal in 1864. Little else is known about the origin of the hymn or its author, but that's all right. It's enough just to know that God can change the world through anyone, regardless of age, who will say, My Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. For thee all the follies of sin I resign. So I will be singing this for you here. My Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. For thee all the follies of sin I resign. My gracious Redeemer, my Saviour art thou. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. I'll do the fourth one. Fourth verse. In mansions of glory and endless delight, I'll ever adore thee in heaven so bright. I'll sing with a glittering crown on my brow. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now.